The FBI's secret files on Marilyn Monroe. They reveal some of her friends were suspected communists, and she once considered traveling to the Soviet Union. The FBI kept files on her from 1955 until her death in 1962.
Marilyn Monroe's life and death have been talked about for years. Many people believed they knew her story, her fame, beauty, and heartbreak. But now, new clues have come out challenging everything we once believed. From missing letters to quiet talks in the White House, this new clue doesn't look good, even though it finally solves the mystery. This is not just another Hollywood story. This is the final piece of the puzzle. What exactly does this new clue reveal? Join us in this video to find out. The mystery of Marilyn Monroe is finally solved. For more than 60 long years, the sad and mysterious death of Marilyn Monroe has stayed in people's minds. It has haunted not just Hollywood, but also the whole world. People could not stop thinking about it. Marilyn Monroe was not just a regular actress or a simple movie star. She was seen as a big symbol of beauty, softness, charm, and also mystery. When she was found dead in her home in Los Angeles in 1962, the official story came out very quickly. Officials said it was probably a self-harm by overdose. But right after that, many people started talking and asking questions. Some people thought about if it really was a self-harm at all. They asked if maybe Marilyn had become a threat to some very important and powerful people. People who had secrets, people who had strong reasons to keep those secrets hidden. Even though there were many news stories, documentaries, and different kinds of investigations over the years, the real truth has stayed hidden and confusing. The authorities closed her case very fast. But a lot of people who were close to Marilyn said the story just did not feel right. There were strange things that did not match up in witness statements, there was odd behavior from people at the scene, and there was missing evidence. All these things made people think it was not as simple as a self-harm. Some people started saying it was a cover-up. Others said that Hollywood did not care enough and was cold-hearted. A few people even blamed famous political figures who did not want their names to be known with Marilyn's name. Years later, new interviews, reports, and stories raised the chances that Marilyn's fate was not only sad, but also on purpose. Also, the truth may be more shocking than what people believed before. When she was born on June 1, 1926 in Los Angeles, her name was Norma Jean Mortensen. Her life was not easy from the very start. Her birth certificate did not have a father's name. Her mother, whose name was Gladys, had very serious mental health problems. Because of this, little Norma Jean did not have a warm or stable home like many children. From the year 1935 to 1942, she had to live in many different foster homes and also an orphanage. These were not just short visits. They were very important years that shaped who she was inside. As a child, she moved again and again, having to get used to new homes and new people, but then leaving all over again. While other kids were playing safely and feeling secure, Norma Jean learned that nothing in life stayed the same, and that she always had to be ready to change and protect herself. The years in the orphanage gave her some rules and structure, but not much comfort or love. Her mother was not there most of the time because she was often in the hospital for mental health treatment. With no father and her mother not able to take care of her, Norma Jean became a ward of the state. This difficult period created emotional wounds that stayed with her even when she grew up. It affected her relationships with people, her idea of who she was, and how she tried to show herself to the public. Some people think that if investigators had looked deeper at the people close to Marilyn, checked all the missing evidence, and questioned more witnesses without fear of powerful people, the case might have been solved. After escaping her painful childhood, how did Norma Jean start to transform into the glamorous star the world would know as Marilyn Monroe? Let's find out. The journey towards becoming Marilyn Monroe. By June 1942, when she was only 16 years old, Norma Jean made a big choice that changed her life forever. She married James Doherty, who was a 21-year-old neighbor. But this was not a love story like in fairy tales. It was not because of big romance or passion. She did it because her foster care was ending and she had no safe home to go to. She was scared of going back to the orphanage. So, marriage seemed like a safe and proper way to avoid that scary future. Even though she was so young and not really ready, she became a wife and took on adult responsibilities. At that time, she believed marriage would give her the safety and security she never really had before. Later, when James joined the Merchant Marine to serve during World War II, Norma Jean stayed behind in California. To support herself and aid in the war effort, she began working in a Van Nuys munitions factory in 1944. A military photographer once arrived to take pictures to raise spirits. He asked to take Norma Jean's picture after noticing how well she looked on camera. Something far greater than she could have ever dreamed began with this one straightforward picture. Jobs as a model were made possible by that photo. A modeling agency soon signed her. She felt joyful and alive in front of the camera. Not only was she beautiful, but she also had a unique spark and charm. In only a few months, she became a very popular pin-up model, appearing in many magazines and calendars. Her fame started to grow very fast. With each new photo, she felt more confident. The shy girl from foster homes was becoming someone who could grab people's attention and hold it. Modeling gave her own money, made her more visible to the public, and showed her a way to move forward in life. In 1946, she signed her first movie contract with 20th Century Fox. This was a very big step in her life and marked the beginning of her acting career. But along with this opportunity came a big change. The studio bosses thought her name needed to sound more special and glamorous. That's when Norma Jean Mortensen became Marilyn Monroe. The name Marilyn was chosen because of a Broadway star named Marilyn Miller. The last name Monroe came from her mother's family name. Even though she agreed to use the new name for her career, it made her feel like there were two people inside her: the public Marilyn and the private Norma Jean. This split in her identity would keep affecting her for years. With her new name and image, she began to get small roles in movies between 1947 and 1950. These were not big parts, but they helped her learn and get experience. Her first credited movie was Dangerous Years in 1947, where she played a waitress. While the film was not a big hit, it got her in front of the camera in a new way. She was not just posing anymore, she was acting. In the following years, she kept getting small roles. These were not glamorous or headline-making, but they were important steps. She got to watch and learn from other actors, learn about how movies were made, and understand the business side of Hollywood. One of her notable appearances was in The Asphalt Jungle in 1950. Though she did not have much screen time, people noticed her charm and presence. By 1950, the change from Norma Jean to Marilyn Monroe was almost finished. The scared little girl had become a rising star. She had not become a huge name yet, but she was on her way. She carefully worked on her image, took chances, and dealt with many challenges as a woman in a male-dominated industry. Once she became Marilyn Monroe, what hidden struggles and heartbreaks waited for her behind all the fame and bright lights? Stay tuned for more. Love, pain, and a tragic end. Even as her fame grew, she never forgot the difficult times she had as a child. Her mother's issues, the years spent in foster homes, and the sense of being abandoned all followed her around like a burdensome piece of luggage. She felt broken and alone on the inside. even as she rose to fame. Marilyn struggled with depression and anxiety. During this period, she began taking prescription medications and experienced sleep difficulties. She felt even more insecure because she was extremely sensitive to rejection and criticism. She appeared joyful, endearing, and vibrant from the outside. But inside, she was struggling badly. She had learned to perform not just in front of cameras, but in real life, too. She wore a smile even when she was hurting. Hollywood saw her as the perfect sexy blonde. This image made her popular, but also trapped her in one type of role. She was often given roles that made her look silly or shallow. Even though she wanted to be taken seriously, she was always cast as the dumb blonde. She was actually very smart. She loved reading, studied acting seriously, and wanted to do more meaningful roles. But she was not given those chances often. The roles she got focused on her looks, not her talent. This made her feel frustrated and stuck. She started to fight with the studios. She refused to take roles that insulted her. She asked for better pay. She even left sets and faced suspensions. These fights were her way of trying to take control of her own life and career. She wanted to be seen as an artist, not just a pretty face. In her personal life, Marilyn kept facing heartache. She was married 3 times. Each marriage started with hope, but ended in pain. She wanted love and stability, but she did not find it. Her marriage to Joe DiMaggio was especially difficult. On the outside, it looked like a perfect match, a famous baseball player and a Hollywood star. But inside, it was full of fights and misunderstandings. Joe did not like Marilyn's public image. He wanted her to be more private and traditional. He was jealous and controlling. The famous scene from The 7-Year Itch, where her dress blew up, made him very angry. Their marriage ended after just 9 months. Marilyn filed for divorce because she felt emotionally hurt. Joe felt sorry later and stayed in her life in different ways, but their marriage left her with more emotional wounds. Her other marriages also failed. She kept looking for love and safety, but never really found them. At the same time, her addiction to pills and alcohol got worse. What started as medicine to help her sleep and calm her anxiety turned into a strong dependency. She started missing work, forgetting lines, and showing up late. People started calling her difficult, but they did not see the deep pain she was in. As the years went by, she had more and more problems on movie sets. She would be late or not show up. She felt trapped by the roles she was given and her own fears. Her mental health got worse, and her substance use kept growing. She wanted to play serious roles and prove she was more than just a sex symbol, but people only saw her mistakes. In her final years, rumors came out that she had affairs with powerful men, including members of the Kennedy family. This added more mystery and danger to her story. Some people believe these connections might be why her death was not simple and might have been part of a bigger plan to silence her. Marilyn Monroe's story is a long, painful, and complicated one. It shows the high cost of fame and how a person can feel so alone even when everyone knows their name. What hidden secrets and surprising truths did investigators and close insiders finally uncover about Marilyn Monroe's mysterious death? Let's delve deeper. Shocking secrets revealed about Marilyn Monroe's mysterious death. The Netflix documentary about Marilyn Monroe shares many shocking facts about her life and her sad death. One of the first big points in the film is about how Hollywood used to treat young actresses. A big agent named Al Rosen said that casting directors picked girls based on how they looked and wrote their names in a black book to show who could be used. In the old days, many young women came to Hollywood with big dreams, but they were judged only by their looks. In one part of the film, young women are shown standing in line to be measured, which shows how badly they were treated. Another big thing in the documentary is how much Marilyn wanted to have a baby. People close to her said she wanted children more than anything else. A photographer named Milton Green said she talked about having a baby a lot. Her friend Arthur James said if she had to choose between being famous and having kids, she would have picked kids. When she was pregnant, she felt the happiest. But sadly, she lost her baby, and after that, she did not try again. The film also talks about Marilyn's connection to the Kennedy brothers. She first met John F. Kennedy in the 1950s. Later, she also got close to his brother Robert. They met at parties hosted by Peter Lawford. Marilyn got caught in a fight between Robert Kennedy and a powerful man named Jimmy Hoffa. Hoffa did not like Robert and wanted to find bad things about him. Because of this, a private investigator named Fred Otash was hired to spy on Marilyn. He put listening devices in her house, in Peter Lawford's house, and on the phone lines. The bugs recorded private talks and even what happened in the bedroom. Otash's team collected tapes with very private moments between Marilyn and the Kennedy brothers. Another shocking fact is that the FBI had a file on Marilyn. The FBI worried about her because she had friends who were communists, and they thought she might share secrets. When Marilyn died, people were told she died from taking too many sleeping pills and that she was found after 3 a.m. But a woman named Natalie Jacobs, who was the wife of her PR manager, said they got a call about Marilyn at 10:30 p.m., which is much earlier than the official story. A researcher named Anthony Summers found that Marilyn might have been found alive first, then died on the way to the hospital in an ambulance, and then was taken back home, so it looked like she died there. Some people think this was all done to protect the Kennedy brothers. A federal agent told one person that Robert Kennedy was in town that day and saw Marilyn. They also had a fight on the phone that night. After she died, people might have gone to her home to remove any proof of her connection to the Kennedys. Many people still think Marilyn's death was an accident or self-harm, but these details from the documentary suggest that there might be secrets and a possible cover-up to protect important people. After all the mystery and rumors that surrounded Marilyn's final years, what really happened behind closed doors in those last days of her life? Let's learn more. The secrets behind Marilyn's final days. One person who strongly believed there was something more to the story about Marilyn Monroe's death was Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra was not just any singer, he was a big star too. He was very close to Marilyn, and they shared a very special bond. He always cared about her a lot. Over the years, Frank started to think that Marilyn's death was not just something simple. He believed that there was something dark, something hidden, something very serious behind it. According to the information, Marilyn Monroe was very close to the Kennedy brothers. People have always talked about these secret connections. Some people say Marilyn spent time with John F. Kennedy, and they got even closer during his 1960 campaign to become president. Frank Sinatra was the one who helped them meet in private. He let them use his house in Palm Springs so they could see each other without the public finding out. Later on, Marilyn even sang "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" to JFK in front of a big crowd, which made people think even more that they had something special going on. Marilyn did not just think of herself as a fun friend to JFK. She believed she was someone he could trust, someone he could talk to about big, serious topics. She thought she was his special companion, not just another person in his life. At the same time, she also got close to Robert Kennedy. When the brothers cut her off, she felt really hurt. She kept on calling them, trying to get to them, but they didn't answer her anymore. It was even worse with Robert Kennedy, who told people to block her calls. This made her feel alone. She felt very sad, thinking about why they just cut her off after being so close. In her last days, Marilyn stayed at a place called the Cal-Neva Lodge. This was a special resort by Lake Tahoe. Frank Sinatra partly owned this place. He often let Marilyn stay there for free because he cared so much about her. That weekend turned out to be her last. During that time at Cal-Neva, Frank noticed that Marilyn was acting very emotional. She would feel happy one moment, then very sad the next. She kept talking about how upset she was about the Kennedys ignoring her and how lost she felt. Frank saw her drinking a lot and taking too many pills. It scared him. One time that weekend, Marilyn took so many pills that she passed out. Frank got very worried and ran to her room to help her. He threw cold water on her face to wake her up. Then, he made her go for a long walk around the resort to make sure she stayed awake and didn't fall back asleep in a dangerous way. People saw Frank supporting her as she walked, almost holding her up so she wouldn't fall. While all of this was happening, some photographers and reporters were secretly watching from nearby. They were trying to get pictures of Marilyn because they heard she might be planning to tell the world something big. They thought she might announce she was getting back with Joe DiMaggio, or maybe share secrets about the Kennedys. This made Marilyn even more stressed and upset. After learning what Frank Sinatra believed happened to Marilyn, how did he carry the pain and try to honor her memory in the years that followed? Let's take a closer look. Frank's painful belief and endless search for truth. After Marilyn passed away, rumors started spreading. Frank Sinatra believed these rumors. He even heard things from his lawyer, Mickey Rudin. Mickey told Frank that Marilyn was going to have a big press conference to talk about her relationship with the Kennedys. Because of this, some powerful people thought she had to be stopped. Frank also had friends in the mafia, including Sam Giancana and Johnny Roselli. They told Frank that Marilyn had been silenced on purpose. They said someone gave her a very strong meds while she was not fully awake. Frank allegedly believed that Robert Kennedy and Union leader Jimmy Hoffa were part of this plan. They did not want her to talk, so they took steps to make sure she could not say anything to the public. Frank thought that if Marilyn had spoken at that press conference, it would have been a huge scandal. The Kennedys' public image might have been ruined, and they could have lost all their support. Frank believed that the mafia helped because they wanted to get something in return, like help with elections or business deals. Frank was sure that Marilyn did not die naturally or by accident. He thought the police in Los Angeles helped cover up what really happened, so it would look like she just took too many pills by herself. This idea made Frank very angry and very sad. Even though Frank never found strong proof that he could show to the world, he still believed in his heart that Marilyn's life was taken by someone else. He spent a lot of time and money trying to find out the truth. He hired people to look at her phone records and her medical reports. He wanted to find a small clue that could prove what he believed. Marilyn and Frank had a very strong friendship. It was not a romance. They were just very close as friends. They both knew what it felt like to be lonely and to have the world watching them all the time. When they were together, they felt safe to talk and be real with each other. Frank tried many times to help Marilyn feel better. He invited her to stay at his home, took her to different places to rest, and always wanted her to feel cared for. When Marilyn died, Frank felt like he had lost someone very important. He was very sad and felt like he could not protect her in the end. He kept thinking about her and trying to honor her memory. He believed she was more than just a star. She was his dear friend. After hearing so many rumors and whispers about Marilyn Monroe and President Kennedy, could there finally be real proof hidden in their private letters? Let's find out more. Hidden letters and a secret love. Recently, private letters came to light that showed a much deeper story than anyone expected. These letters are believed to have been written by Monroe and Kennedy themselves, showing feelings that were hidden from the public for so long. One of Kennedy's letters to Marilyn, dated February 13, 1962, talked about how special she was to him. He wrote about her hair, her scent, and how she was different from his wife. This showed that Monroe meant more to him than just a casual meeting. In that same letter, Kennedy even said he had booked a room at the White House under a fake name so they could meet secretly. This detail showed how much effort he put into keeping their connection hidden from the world. Monroe replied to Kennedy on February 15th. In her letter, she said, "God, what an affair we're having. The love we share is both secret and happening." With these words, she showed that she was excited but also aware that their love had to stay hidden. But by July of that same year, things changed. Monroe wrote another letter on July 6th, saying she wanted to end the relationship. She said, "I'm so sorry, but this has to end. It can never work." She explained that she did not want to be a secret anymore and wanted a real relationship that was open and honest. She felt tired of always hiding and being seen as a secret part of someone else's life. Kennedy's reply, dated July 16th, showed that he understood her decision. He said he would cancel the room at the White House and accepted that it was over. In that letter, he wrote, "Look, you changed my life, Marilyn. Goodbye and good luck. You will always be different than my wife." His words showed that he cared for her deeply, but he knew they could not continue. These letters were a strong sign that something real happened between them. Before, people only had rumors and stories. Now, these letters showed their true feelings in their own words. If their letters revealed so much about their secret feelings, what did their actions and the silence from those closest to them truly say about the price they paid? Keep watching for more. The Missing Diary and Jackie Kennedy's silence. Another significant aspect of this story is the missing diary of Marilyn Monroe. After her death, people discovered that her diary was missing. It was claimed that Monroe recorded her serious conversations, deep feelings, and thoughts in this diary. Some speculate that the diary may have included information about her conversations with Kennedy, and possibly even confidential information about significant political issues. Because the diary disappeared so quickly, many people believed someone took it to hide the truth forever. At the same time, President Kennedy's marriage to Jacqueline Kennedy was going through a lot of stress. Jackie, as people called her, had already heard rumors about her husband's private life before. But the idea of Marilyn Monroe being involved was different, because Monroe was famous all over the world. People who knew Jackie said she saw Monroe as a big danger to her family's image. Monroe was loved by many, and her name always drew attention. Many believe that Jackie remained silent to protect her children because she never discussed Monroe or any other rumored affairs in public, despite feeling betrayed and hurt. Jackie wanted to protect the family's perfect image, and Monroe's name threatened that image. Others believe she did not want to make things worse or lose her dignity. Whatever her reason, Jackie never confirmed or denied the stories, and this silence made the mystery even stronger. People close to Jackie said she started spending more time away from Washington. She would stay at family homes or take trips with her children to avoid the spotlight. Some friends said she even thought about leaving Kennedy, but in the end, she stayed. Many believe she did it to keep the family together and to protect her children. A tough part of these popular people's lives is shown by the story of these letters, the diary, and Jackie Kennedy's stress. There were other reasons at play aside from fame and power. Pain, loneliness, grief, and love were all real feelings too. Even after all these years, people still continue to think about what really happened that day. The letters stand as a secret window into their lives, showing their true feelings and issues. The secrets in the missing diary continue to catch people's interest. Jackie's silence remains powerful and mysterious. People still guess what she really knew and felt, but she took those answers with her. The connection between Monroe and Kennedy, backed up by these letters, is now seen as one of the most talked about love stories in American history. It's possible that many questions will never be fully resolved. Jackie's quiet strength, the missing diary, and the letters, however, keep this story alive. How did you feel about Marilyn Monroe's death mystery? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video shown on your screen to catch up on your favorite celebrity stories. See you there.